Welcome back, everybody, for another lesson installment of Tony MacAlpine's Autumn Lords. We just finished that barn burner turnaround run in the prior lesson, and now we get to dig into this really cool anthemic arpeggio and scale passage section. And the first section is a descending C sharp minor. Every note's picked, and it starts on a down pick on the 21st fret of the high E string. Then we go back on the high E to 16, B string, continue the upstroke to 17, continue your upstroke to 18 on the G string. That looks like this. Then we're going to down pick the B string on the 17th fret and then go 17, 16. So that's... Then we have this really cool rapid fire scale passage. We're going to back up to 14th position, where we're going to go 14, 16, 14 with a hammer on and a pull off on the B string. And then we're going to have another triplet on the G string, which is going to be 16, 15, 16, picked starting with a downstroke. Push that downstroke back to the B string, 14th fret, where you're going to go 14, 16, 17. And then push the downstroke through to the high E string, where you're going to pick 14, 16, 18. So that looks like this. So that whole part is... The next arpeggio is a G sharp minor, and it's going to look like this. And that's going to be on the high E. That's going to be 19, 16, and then 16 on the B and 16 on the G with a little bit of a pivot in there. So we go back to the high E initially after the B string. And you're going to be starting on an upstroke after the prior run, because we were economy picking and we came up like this. So we're going to start with an up. Then we get another scale passage, which is going to be in 13th position, starting on the G string. The first string is going to be all legato. We're going to start with the down pick on the 15th fret of the G string, and we're going to go with hammers and pull-offs to 16, 15, 14. And then we're going to get our pick out again, and we're going to work the D string like this. And that's going to be starting on a downstroke, 16, 14, 13, and then back up. So that's going to play out like this so far. And I actually picked the first two notes there. You can do it however you like. And then follow your downstroke through to the G string again and repeat those notes. It's going to be 13, 15, 16. So... So the next arpeggio is going to be a C sharp minor in a different inversion, starting on the B string on the 14th fret. It's going to start with a downstroke because you just followed through from an economy downstroke. And it's going to be B string 14, G string 13, D string 14, and the A string on the 16th fret. Then we have a downstroke on the D string, which is going to be on the 16th fret, so it's going to be 16, 14. Then we have another scale pattern that starts right here. We go back to 11th position on the D string. We have a triplet. It's going to be 11, 13, 11 on the D string. And we're going to come back to the A string, and we're going to get our pick out again, and we're going to start with down picks, and we're going to go 14, 13, 14. And we're going to follow that downstroke to the D string, and we're going to go down, up, down, 11, 13, 14. Then we have two notes as we continue our economy type of pattern here on the G string. That's going to be 11, 13. And then we have one note on the B string, which is the 11th fret. So that looks like this. All right. We have one last arpeggio in this section, which is another G sharp minor, and it's going to look like this. And that's going to be B string on 12, G and D on the 13th, and the A string on the 14th. And don't forget that little pivot in there. Now we're going to have a scale passage that starts on the A string, and it looks like this. And that's going to look like this. On the A string, it's 13, 14, 13. Then we get the pick out and start on 11, and it's going to be 11, 13, 14. And then we have 11, 13, 14 on the D. Economy picked. That's a down, up, down. And then we just have 9, 12, 9 on the B string. And that's one pick. So that little section looks like this. And you're going to set yourself up for a tap on the 17th fret, just to peek ahead slightly there on the B string. So that whole thing put together at a modest tempo looks like this. And now for that blasted tapping run. We were coming out of that scale passage. And we're going to start with the B string on the 17th fret. And the pattern is basically going to be tap, pull, pull, and then hammer back and pull again. So, and then there's generally going to be a hammer on the G string. So get used to this idea. So the first pattern looks like this. It starts on the B string. It's going to be tap 17, pull to 12, pull to 9, and then hammer back to 12, and then pull back to 9, and then hammer the G string at the 10th fret. So now the tap note goes up one fret to the 18th fret on the B string, and we're going to work our pull-offs on the B string between 14 and 12, and the hammer, out of nowhere, is going to be on the 13th fret of the G. So we've got two of these things so far. Come up another one fret on the B string. Now we're on the 19th fret of the B, and the notes we're going to work are going to be tap 19, pull to 14, pull to 11, and then hammer to 14 and pull to 11 again. And the hammer is going to be on the G string 12th fret. So we've got this so far. Yeah, so this one's a little bit different. We're going to tap again one fret higher. We're on the 20th fret. It's going to be 20, pull to 16, 14. Then we hammer to 16 again, pull 14, but then slide back to 13. So it looks like this. So far it's this. This next one's going to look a little different. We're going to tap 21, pull off to 18, and then to 15. Slide up to 19, pull off to 16, hammer the G string on the 17th fret. And that actually speeds up. These are actually 8 notes in a beat instead of 6 notes a beat, which everything else was. So this is... So slower, this whole thing looks like this. Got it? So we now parlay that into a B flat major arpeggio. Ideally, you'd want to up-pick the E string on the 18th fret and pull off to 13. I always wind up trapped down picking it and pulling off. It'd just be cleaner if you could start it with an up pick, but I'm just going to play it straight for you. I wind up down picking. So that's going to be 18 to 13. And then upstroke through the B, G, and D strings on the 15th fret. and then follow that upstroke to the A string on the 17th fret, and then pull off to the 11th. So that's going to look like this. And that's back to 6 notes in the beat. So stitching that all together. Almost there. We have a C sharp minor arpeggio now that starts on the A string on the 16th fret, and it's going to look like this. You follow it all the way back to the low E string, and those notes are going to look like this. It's going to be a rake, sweep. It's going to be A string on 16, D string 14, G string 13, B string 14, high E string 12, hammer high E string to 16, tap high E string on 21, come back down. That'll be, of course, 16, 12, and then you're going to rake an up pick back through those same notes. B string 14, G string 13, D string 14, A string 16, and then using the pinky as a bar, get that low E string on the 16th fret as well. Let's try that whole thing. Then 2 simple scale passages. Praise the Lord, right? We've got just that's going to be legato on the D string, and that is going to be 6, 7, 6, 4, and then pick on the A string 7, 6, 4, and that 4th fret on the A string is going to be an artificial harmonic. Take the same fingerprint of those frets and just move it 1 set of strings towards the treble side, and then you just play the same pattern on the G string and D string. So it's going to be, of course, that is 6, 7, 6, 4 hammered on the G, and then picked on the D string 7, 6, 4. So let's try the whole thing slowly. Guess what? We get to do the solo next. I'll see you then, guys. Cheers.